What is going on, guys, gals, aliens, DJ freaks? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Monday. Hope you had a good Easter weekend. Hope you got a chance to refresh. Hope you got a chance to spend time with family, to reorient yourself. Maybe go back to the drawing board. See how you had been trading and how you had been over the past couple weeks prior to going into this resurrection season, you know? And so can we be resurrected from the ashes of our destroyed altcoin portfolios that we have been trying to get back in the green? We've all been in the trench, my friends, deep in the cave, deep in the tomb. But we're walking out of the tomb, baby. We're walking out of the tomb today. And Bitcoin finally walked out of its tomb, getting out of the resistance that we were holding here at like 84.7. Just had that nasty resistance right here. We've got hit on this line. You can see this line right here. This is a key line of resistance. And now we had turned this into some support, a support resistance flip. Out of this volatility, we have gold breaking out, signaling the breakout for Bitcoin, because once gold starts to break out and continues to take a lot of that fiat cash, the bonds, any of the markets that have to do with fiat currency going into gold, this is what is happening. But then we're going to explain how gold might only go so far to the point where if people ask for their physical gold and they want their physical gold from all these custodians, and it had the similar thing as the bank run, if everyone just decided, you know what, these banks suck, I'm going to take my money out of the banks and we are going to do a bank run. Guess what? They're not going to be able to give everyone all the cash, because guess what? They don't have it. They don't have enough to give people if we were to bank run on all the banks and then say, you know what, we're gonna put it in Bitcoin. It would be mass chaos. We've already seen it happen, and I think that's what would happen with gold if everyone tried to say, oh, let's get all of our chests, go pirate style, and let's all hold our gold in some chests in our own home. Guess what? You're not going to be able to do it because they don't have it. You'll say, give me my gold, and they'll say, hold on. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. I'll call you back. Hold on. I'll call you back. And then now here's the difference between gold and Bitcoin. See, Bitcoin has always been coined this digital gold system. And the difference between this is that you can actually custodian this Bitcoin yourself. You can have multiple wallets. You can have your keys, not your crypto. So the whole point of this in Bitcoin is to be able to be your own bank, your own sovereign bank, where you can have the liquidity, you can verify that you have the Bitcoin, and then you can also, other people can then verify, okay, cool, you sent that, I sent this is how much it costs, this is how much I got, and it's on the blockchain forever. You can't do that with gold, you can't do that with fiat, you can't do it with anything else in the entire world. This is why the big whales are coming in to this train that has, since every Easter, which is really, really cool. We loved this. Did we repost it? I thought we reposted it. Bitcoin prices on Easter since 2012. Check this out. So amazing. So 2012, you got to look at the Easter dates of the prices of Bitcoin. $5.14. You could have bought a whole Bitcoin. And then you can see a trend here. Every single year since 2012, we have had a steady uptrend. Doesn't mean it hasn't had volatility. I think volatility, if you see Michael Saylor, he says it's a feature. Kathy Wood says Bitcoin's volatility is a feature. And this is why we have to stick with the volatility, work with the volatility, because ultimately it will serve us in the end and we will not get shaken out. But guys, welcome to this fine Monday. Welcome to the live stream. We're really excited you guys are here. Make sure you're hitting the like button on the way in and just doing all those things, because if we don't get the like buttons completely smashed, YouTube is not very friendly, and they've never been friendly, especially to this channel. We've been banned. We've been bamboozled. We've been cuckstered. We've been frauded, but we're never going to get pushed down because we have you guys to support the channel. You're amazing. We really appreciate it. And we like to have some fun. Apparently, we're supposed to be in YouTube jail, and that we do not need to exist on the cryptocurrency ecosystem at all. But I digress. I don't believe that to be true. I don't think you guys think that should be true either. Unless you do, and put a 1 in the chat if you think I should be in YouTube jail. But we've seen this Bitcoin volatility really hit pretty hard. Yesterday, I was seeing the Bollinger Bands getting squeezed. We were getting pinched, and I just was thinking, okay, are they about to sideline a bunch of people on Easter and have this thing rise like the holiday that we were that we were celebrating? He is risen. Bitcoin is risen. Now, the key point here is that can we hold the 200-day moving average? So because we've been eyeing this 200-day moving average for Bitcoin for a little bit, see the 200-day moving average, we literally just smacked right into it. And now we're holding it. So the next level that we could be eyeing is that 89.5. Why do we have 89.5 marked? Well, it's these points of resistance around this level where we kind of wicked above this 89. We kind of smacked between 89 and 91, and we had some resistance. And a few different times here, and it's kind of on this downtrend. If you're looking at the Coinbase chart, it's up like on this downtrend line from the top. We have kind of just been skirting and trying to test these levels on a descending wedge. So we've been in this giant descending wedge here on Bitcoin, and it's just been kind of nasty to trade because you don't know, descending wedges can keep descending and hit levels that will destroy you. And so we just had to know where at a point were we going to get some type of signal that this could be the end of the wedgening here, the descending wedgening, and can we have a nice recovery? So you can see here we actually had a double bottom on Bitcoin right here, 74 and then 74. And then that was kind of the liftoff, and we haven't seen any lower prices like that since, besides this 78, and then we've been kind of off to the races. So if we want to trend, from the bottom here, going and crossing through, then what we could be doing is testing and bouncing like this. We'd have a rollover, or the kind of a good rollover or bounce over. And then we're kind of doing this. We're testing these levels. We bounced, and now let's see if we can go into this range. And then the next stop could be just right at, we pump over 90, and then we can continue, and then maybe stop right here. But this looks like a nice little test of a upward trend out of the descending wedge on Bitcoin. So it's looking pretty good. It's not looking too bad. We are actually trading this volatility. We traded the volatility last night. We almost cleared our prop evaluation last night, but we just, even though we know we could go for the long wins, we have a good feeling and an intuition, but your feelings and intuitions don't mean crap when the market wants to wick. And look, see these wicks? See these wicks that happen on the chart? Look at this. It's crazy. You can see here, if I can get to Bitcoin, where you just look, even through us getting and pumping, look at these wicks, look at that wick. And you can see all where I was trading, hitting stop losses, hitting also take profits. But see these wicks? That can destroy you if you don't have a stop loss set and you're just trying to trade this momentum, because even though we're in an uptrend from that bottom, the market likes to do some funky stuff. And you can see when it does it between 9 and 10, right on the market open, you can get some, or pre-market open, you can get some swingy wicks. So just make sure whenever you're trying to trade that you are, you can't even walk away from the screen. You have to watch it. You have to literally be like a roach Like Crypto Face said, in and out, in and out. You got to be like boom, boom. And this type of market right now is just it is what it is. You can't just like set a trade and chill, and you probably shouldn't be doing that anyway. You shouldn't be setting trades and thinking that you're 100% right without having a protection in place. And so this is how we were actually able to trade this account up. You know, people think that like, oh, once you have a bunch of money, $5,000, oh, that should be easy. You should be able to trade that up no problem. Wrong. Most people blow the account really quickly, and it's not as super easy to do. Doesn't mean you're not going to take losses. I took losses in this account already. This account was at 5,000. It was at 4,000. It was like, you know, down 150 from the start. And now I'm back up by actually being very diligent, stop losses. And this was even with stop losses, going in the entry and making sure that the trade was protected. And I was able to get this account up to 5,342, which is just like 100, 30 shy from completing the prop challenge, which is to get it to 5,500. Now, we were $80 away because this volatility. You get to see, look, Bitcoin went up to 88,004. Our target was about 88. I was like 88.6 or 88.9. I was thinking 88.9 would be a nice cool off point because that was right at the top of the wick. But you could see here we kind of slowed down. You can see here if you go on the shorter time frame, you can see where we slowed down. We hit that resistance. But it's tricky though. Like right when you're at the top here, you'll start to see your trades start to pump. Like even this one, this one, we have a Bitcoin long trade open on OURBIT. Shout out to OURBIT. And we're going to get into there's so much to cover, but we wanted to get the Bitcoin TA out of the way first and go into a couple altcoins as well. Because right now, we got ticker Bitcoin up 19%. Thing is pumping really nicely. And so we're going to get into some of our coins that we like. We're going to get into we're going to chart Sui. We're going to chart Brett. We're going to get back into charting some Brett. We were heavy on Brett, and now that I think that Brett is finally probably seeing a fair amount of its lows, that I think we could see some upward momentum as long as we can get ETH doing what it did last year, and we can start making some moves. But what's cool about a lot of these altcoins that we're going to chart here today is that they are still under their 200-day moving average. Like AVAX, Radium, Orca, I think is Pepe. Like a lot of these, Doge is under its 200-day moving average. Litecoin's under its 200-day moving average, is getting pretty close. So just think that they're all trying to eye their 200-day moving average, and also if we can trade and hold the 20 SMA as well, then that can be a good bullish indication of a upward trend for altcoins, and we could possibly, take advantage of that situation. But it all is dependent on Bitcoin, because you see when Bitcoin goes up, when Bitcoin finally makes a move, then it gives the altcoins a chance to kind of, with the sentiment, move along with the market. And what's cool is that I like seeing what coins are going to do the best whilst Bitcoin is pumping, and which ones are kind of just not really moving that much. You can do that by just kind of, okay, look, Bitcoin on the day. We know Bitcoin today and yesterday, or last night through the night on the Asian market opens, that it was opening pretty it was pretty bullish, like we were going to be pretty bullish. So then you can say that, okay, are on the top 100, look, decent metaverse tokens actually did pretty well. You see Mana. We were talking about this a couple months ago, where the metaverse tokens and the gaming tokens might have a resurgence again and have a completely separate bull run on its own narrative. You think like with Elio Trades and Alex Becker really heavily kind of doubling down on saying, hey, don't fade the crypto gaming ecosystems, people make fun of it and are like, oh, it's not going to be a thing. Just wait until Grand Theft Auto comes out and they have that token NFT marketplace, whole in-game ecosystem of being able to actually make money. It's going to be insane. That alone, as caveated with the ecosystems that are already built out, like Star Atlas, we got Medieval Empires building. We have all of the gaming ecosystems and coins and different projects that are involved with Superverse. There's meme coins that actually have games like Floki. Floki actually, you wouldn't think, but is part of the gaming ecosystem. Chris Prophet said, this cycle has been nothing but exchanges taking from everyone and robbing people. Well, they've always done it. It's just now they've doubled down. So it's not like they just decided this year to start scamming people with market makers and you know, the price action. They just, all they did was quadruple down on it. They started doubling down on the scams. And also listing scams. Like Coinbase and Binance have been listing super low liquidity, like meme tokens, and just ignoring other projects that probably have more liquidity or actually building stuff. And then they're like, we're encouraging builders. But then they're just listing like shit tokens to dump on futures on people's heads. So I don't know. They need to make up their minds what they actually really want to do. Do they just want to be scammy exchanges, or do they want to actually help people? We'll just have to see. Only time will tell. Or maybe the Wells notice will tell. It's like at this point, like I would not mind certain exchanges getting served, baby, because then maybe we could stop having these scammy wick candles. It's all their fault. But we've said it before. It's not going to go away. It's never going to go away. They're always going to be there doing some shady dealings. And so they're going to do whatever is most profitable. And that's just kind of the nature of it. And I don't know where everyone is. I don't know what's going on, but the numbers, the people, they're just not here. But you guys are here. So I really appreciate it. I appreciate Jordan, Chris, No Spoon, XN, Crypto Fart. You guys are the faithful remnant and you're amazing. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, so let's see. We're gonna chart gold here for a second. We're gonna tell you guys why we think that gold breaking out right now is actually signaling for a big crypto rally, specifically in Bitcoin. And you know what, Jordan? You're right. It's all good. He said it's all good. You don't need lots of people. You just need good people. Let's go. Let's go. You are 100% right. You guys are good people. All right, let's see how many people we do have watching across all platforms. And we're doing a short stream today. We're not going to be streaming like an hour or 2 hours or anything like that. It's still spring break for the girly, and also the big boss has some things to do. So we have to make sure we are timely with our live stream, and we're going to get through all of the stuff we want to talk about. Let's see. All right, so let's go to gold. So gold, it's funny, we had this line charted for a while. Like we've had this line on here on gold for probably the past, I don't know, months and months and months. We had, and it smacked right into it. I said, look, gold, and we even had this line that like said gold is is looking like a cup and handle breakout, textbook breakout, and it actually completed it perfectly. So if you see the depth of the cup from the bottom to the top of the cup, you can see it actually broke out perfectly right into the area where a cup and handle pattern has. If you've seen them actively break out, which we've seen cup and handle patterns break out on Bitcoin, we've seen them break out on a bunch of different coins, and we were seeing them all over the place last year. And so you can see that gold has actually been forming a giant cup and handle on the weekly chart. And so on a macro perspective, it's been due and ready since its bottoming in 2022, which was kind of the bottom and the capitulation of the cryptocurrency markets, is where we finally kind of picked up some steam. You know, October, November, you can see here that was the bottom, 16,000. So really interesting that on the bottom of 16,000 of Bitcoin, we also had the bottom of gold. Okay, so pretty crazy. So it's really crazy. So we were, God, it would have been nice to actually trade off of our instincts right here. Like this was exactly as predicted. I drew this cup and handle pattern months and months and months ago. I don't even know exactly. It was a while ago. And I was thinking, man, this gold, and also I want to mention silver too. We don't want to forget about silver, because the fact that gold has been just taking the cake here. Watch silver freaking break out to $49 and between $49 and $60 an ounce here, because you can see the uptrend. You can see the uptrend from the bottoms here, and it's just going to trade up into a channel. It's trading up into a channel. So what I'm going to do, I'm legit going to put my money where my mouth is. I want to do this. I'm going to trade silver's futures, because I believe that silver will be $49 or between probably even between $49 and $60 an ounce by the end of the year. So this is, I think, the precursor trade of gold kind of cooling off a little bit, because you got to think, look, I mean, it's broken out of the cup and handle. It's fully broken out. It hit the mark. I mean, it's going to cool off a little bit, because you can see when it hit this line, which was its breaking all-time high, it cooled off a little bit. You know, it cooled off. So I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but you know, we could get a 7% cool off on gold. And when it cools off a little bit, cools off, where's that money going to go? Well, I think it's going to go to silver, and I think it's going to go to Bitcoin. That's where I think it's going. And then we will be hitting our target, which is $250,000 per Bitcoin. The original target was August, September this year. At least getting up close to that 150. We're going to have a supply squeeze or a supply shock here pretty soon. I can feel it. I can feel it in my jellies, in my smelly jellies, that we're going to have a supply squeeze here pretty soon. And it's just going to pop. Because look, here's another weekly bullish chart where if you do the depth of this cup on the weekly, and you go to that bottom point, we haven't even finished the breakout yet. But if you look, and I put it right on this line, look at this. Look at watch. Oh, $200,000. So we still got some time. We still got some time, babies, baby dolls, friends. Look. So if we just macro this thing on the weekly, we have nothing to worry about. And also, just make sure if you want to do this yourself, get on a log chart on Binance and pull your purple boxes from the bottoms to the tops. And then you're going to use those boxes as your measurement. Okay? You're going to pull them to where it stops. Both prices. Now look. This is the same length. I did this on purpose. Look, it's the same length, okay? Same length. Keep going down. It's the same length. I did that on purpose. It's the same height. Same height, okay? It's the same height. So all I'm doing is kind of going off of past patterns, past cycles, and you have to adjust, though, because these cycles had different sentiment, different rules, regulations. Now, going into this cycle, things are a lot different in terms of the regulatory climate and the amount of coins, the amount of liquidity. It's all different. So the money supply, but the things that lead up to us having a bull run don't change. Interest rates have to be down. Bitcoin dominance also has to kind of chill out for us to have the altcoin season, and then we have to have the easing, just the easing of borrowing money, and then dominance goes down. ETH finally pumps, and then we get the money supply going up, fiat cash going up. So all those things, all those things were the same. All those were the same. So just go macro for a little bit on Bitcoin and go on the weekly chart. And then look at gold. Look at how gold's been reacting on this weekly chart of a cup and handle. Look at how Bitcoin's been looking at the, cup and handle. Like, we've had Pepe sipping that cup for a long time. The MAGA Pepe. So all of those things lined up that we will get a $200,000 Bitcoin, I think, this year. It seems like it's a no-brainer. It's just, is that going to be the kind of the top of this year? We hit 200. We get up here, and I would be happy with that. I mean, I would be happy with the 150. I mean, imagine, we're at $150,000 per Bitcoin. Do you understand? Do you even understand what that's going to do to your bags? God is giving you another opportunity to take some profits. That's how you have to look at it. It's like God's like, here you go. Here's another chance, my friend. Redemption. You get another redemption round. Because when Bitcoin was peaking at 109,000, December, January, wherever that point was, look at these altcoins. I mean, and then from the bottoms of where we're at now, you're 192%. Look, so you're an average. You are a 350% average percent gain away from becoming a freaking millionaire if you play your cards right in the next 6 months. That means if you're putting in trades, spot buying, do you have a diversified portfolio? You're pretty much more heavy Bitcoin. You got like 60% Bitcoin, 60, 70% Bitcoin, and then you're gambling with the other 30%. And I think you'll do well. And you can see here, oh my God. And then look at another analysis that we've been doing. You know what? We're not dumb. We've watched these charts and looked at all this stuff and watched really other smart people analyze this stuff too. And we're kind of on I think we have our finger on the dial. You know, people make these comments and say like, oh, this kid doesn't know what he's talking about. Get him off of YouTube. And I'm like, sir, you get on here and explain these charts then. Where's your channel? Where's your freaking TA? Let me see it. Nowhere to be found. So keep talking. Keep talking all the smack, and I'm going to keep bringing it to you because I'm not going anywhere. My friends, I've been beat down. I've came here freaking depressed as hell. I've been smashed. I've lost trades in front of you. And I also made them. But I'm going to be freaking real. I'm going to be real with you. All right, so here you go. Dixie, dollar strength. Dixie, dollar strength. We've been waiting for this thing to cool off. The only reason we had this peak here is because we started to have uncertainty and people were fully risk off. Right here, they were just like, risk off. And then it was crazy. At the same time, people were feeling risk off. Bitcoin was going ham, and the dollar was at a peaking almost back up to here in 2022. So it was really strange. We were expecting it to hit here and keep downtrending, but it surprised us and started to go up. And oddly enough, once it went up and it hit this point of right where Bitcoin hit its downturn, look at this. And now that we're having this inverse, and we remember we pointed this out a long time ago that Bitcoin, whenever it had its 60% like down, it was when the dollar started gaining strength from 98 going up and peaking at 114. And now we're going to get the opposite. We're going to get the inverse correlation now with the Dixie and Bitcoin. We're going to get a 60% move to the upside with Bitcoin correlated from last time. If we go to the chart, can I add to, let me get Bitcoin on here. And look at this. It's the CME chart that I did the correlation on. Check this out. Look right here, that arrow. This arrow, that area right there was the same area where we had a 60% drop on Bitcoin. So now take this and then go from here and go up 60%. And oh, baby, we're at exactly the freaking price that I was just talking about. Look at that. 60%. Very close. I mean, damn close to 150,000. Now, I'm curious of when you guys think that's going to happen. Because look, right now, we have Bitcoin pumping and testing that 200-day moving average. Once we get over the 200-day and we have the 20 SMA, we hold those, we are going to freaking fly. We could fly to the top of the band. You know where the top of the band is on the weekly? $116,000 per Bitcoin. The only thing that we have to worry about is exchanges like Binance and Coinbase scamming us with candles with wicks like this. That is the only thing we have to worry about, because look at where this price was, 96,000, and then look at that wick. Destruction in one wick In one boom, it was just like chaos. So we have to watch out for those slimy little slime balls, and I think we'll be okay. All right, it's 11:31. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and getting this kind of macro breakdown with the correlation with the Dixie, also the correlation with gold and Bitcoin. It's really important that we do this because really what it does is it strengthens our thesis and really validates our own ability to work with these trends, see the trend in a bigger perspective, because that's how we're going to win. That's how we're going to win, is not be too short term and be more macro for a bigger return. And all it takes is a little bit of patience. Sometimes patterns do play out. They don't always, but tell you what though, these cup and handle patterns that have been presenting themselves have really helped us to measure the potential of these runs and the solidity and the validity of these things, along with volume, sentiment, and what's happening across a macro global economic standpoint. It's very important. All right. Well, thank you. Just destroy the like button. Check out all the links in the description. One thing I forgot to mention is that the airdrop for the BITCH token is live. It dropped and it is it's really amazing how they were able to do a really solid airdrop, and I wasn't expecting to get that much value. I was like, okay, I will get, maybe $100 or something like that. But when I got the airdrop into my OURBIT wallet, it was worth $630. I was like, let's go. So all of the different little things that I've been doing, all the achievements and little side quests that you could do to earn more of this token, I was doing them all. And I was opening up the boxes. I was getting fragments and stuff like that. So super cool. So what I did something very smart that I think a lot of people with airdrops forget to do, is that, when the airdrop goes and it lists or it has a TGE event, it pumps pretty hard, and then it always has a sell-off. It doesn't matter how cool it is. It doesn't matter what it is. It just does it. That's just what it does. It always does it. You can just guarantee that it's going to have a dip because people sell the airdrop. And so do you want to be one of those people that actually does that, and then I just sold half of it. So right around here at 3 cents or 3, so around there, I sold half. And then I bought some Solana. So I'll tell you exactly what I did. I sold half. I'm holding half because I believe it could still do really well because it didn't fully dump. I think if the team is smart, they'll hold a good portion. They'll have burning mechanisms. They'll do some buybacks. They'll really incentivize people, not just dumping the dang thing. Maybe if you do hold it, you get some extra rewards. That'll build incentive of holding on the platform, things like that. So, all right, so I'm holding half. So I still have $251 of the token. And then what I did is I bought some Solana. So I took a portion of it and I just bought some Solana. And then I actually took a little bit of the profits as well, or from selling, to go into the futures trade that you see here, which is Bitcoin. So I wanted to also play off, where I was thinking Bitcoin was going to go here. And I think I did pretty well. Look, I caught it at the freaking exact bottom right there, almost the exact bottom. Almost. I was a little off, but almost exact bottom. You can see here, I really held it, and luckily it was a good choice. So I did that. We're up on that trade. And then I took $60 and I re-evaluated into a new prop fund evaluation. And so I did this all in one day. And that has been my 24-hour journey. And also in that 24 hours, traded up the account to 342. And so that has been what we have done so far with all of that sweet airdrop, with that sweet airdrop sauce. All right, well, if you guys found this valuable or informational, educational, make sure you repost it, reshare it, share it with a friend, hit the like button on the way out. Check out the links in the description, but specifically OURBIT, because they are doing this this airdrop, and you could probably still get allocation. You just have to use my link in the description. And yeah, God bless every single one of you. And go into this season now that we can be resurrected. The whole message of this weekend and the whole Good Friday and the whole thing is that even through death and even through sin and all of the things that we go through in this life, we can be always reborn again. And so with that, let's see if we can hold true to that. Okay. Love you guys. Peace out. Have a good day. I'll see you later.
This token is the end game. It's the shitcoin of shitcoin. I mean, imagine telling your coworker you're quitting because Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 and you coin. Boom! Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you hate money, go ahead and visit
HPOSNI.com.